welcome. I'm super excited today to come and talk to you about why leaders must walk the talk. And the reason, number one, let me start off with this, is that you set the example. First and foremost, you set the example. And so real leadership is about setting the example for those around you. And we're going to dive deeper into what that really means. But let me start off with, my name is Sean Douglas, and I'm really excited for this talk because I spent 20 years in the military, and we do all kinds of leadership trainings. We have to perform as leaders. We have to walk the talk as leaders. And if you don't, then there's a big risk of ruining the camaraderie within the unit and those that are under your command. And so I come from a standpoint of leadership from 20 years of being in the military. So I retired from the U.S. Air Force, and I became a TEDx speaker, a podcaster, a professional keynote speaker. And inside the military, I was a master resilience implementer and a suicide awareness trainer. Walking the talk is so important because everybody sees you. When you're the leader, everybody sees you. And there's a little bit of inherent judgment from those that are the followers or those that you serve. And I believe leaders serve. And it's not about having a title. It's not about creating more followers. Walking the talk is all about lifting everybody up that is underneath you and helping them. What's more important is how you make a positive impact difference in the lives of those that you serve. When you make a positive impact difference, people buy into your vision. They will follow you. And so if they don't buy into your vision, they're not going to buy into you. And this is called the law of buy-in. If you do not have the buy-in of those around you and the buy-in into your vision, they will never, ever buy into you as a leader. And I want to say again, you don't need a title to be a leader. Anybody can be a leader. So when we're talking about professional leadership, it's the people in charge. It's the people that are leading a unit. It's the people that are leading a business, leading a home life, leading at their job. When we talk about leadership in general, anyone can be a leader. You don't need a title to be a leader. You have full control of your reactions. You have full control of how you are inside of the dynamic with your peers. And you can actually be a leader inside of your peer group, but also be a follower at the same time by whoever's above you. When leaders don't walk their talk, they lose so much respect and they lose trust amongst the people that they're leading. If I say to do one thing and I do another, it's kind of like do as I say, not as I do. And it's kind of like what parents say to the kids sometimes, like, oh, whatever. No, do what I say, not what I do. Well, of course, when you're an influencer, when you're a leader, people are going to want to follow you. They're going to want to mimic you. They're going to want to do what you do because being a leader has that authority. Being a leader commands respect. Being a leader commands that authority. And when that authority becomes undermined, you lose credibility. And when you lose credibility, you lose trust. And when you've lost the trust of those that you lead or those that you serve, it's very, very hard to get that back. And so in the military, we have to be very careful about what we say, about what we do, about how we carry ourselves. And that's really with every leader. You have to be cognizant of how you carry yourself, how you show up. What I've learned is that if I show up in a really bad attitude, those underneath me, those that I influence, those that I serve as a leader will have a bad attitude. If I'm in a really good mood, I can spread that throughout those that I'm leading. And so they're going to feed off of your energy. Kids do it, your peers do it. They will feed off of your energy. And if you have a bad attitude, if you're having an off day, you have to fix that. Fix it fast, because it will take a chip away each time. It'll chip away at the fabric of the relationship between leader and follower. Some people think that being a leader, you have to build more followers. You have to build the following, because that's what we hear on social media. But that's not what it is at all. Real leadership comes from building up other leaders around you. Some people have a job where they have to train people, but they don't like training people because they think that they're going to take their job from them. If you're trying to get higher rank, if you're trying to get more money, if you're trying to get a higher position within a company, you have to train your replacements. You have to have that mentality that I'm not going to be here forever. This is not where I'm going to be. I'm going to be in a higher position, different position with the company, somewhere in another company, somewhere. So you have to get into the mindset of training your replacements, because that is how real leadership is. You build up other leaders around you. And who cares if they skyrocket past you? Great. You had a hand. You were their mentor. You had a hand up in raising them from a follower to a leader. So it's very important when we say walk the talk. If you're not walking your talk, you're losing credibility fast. John Maxwell has a great book called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And it talks about the law of buy-in, and it talks about vision, and it talks about everything that I'm saying. So if you haven't read that book, I suggest you go read 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. Mark Sanborn also has a great book about leadership. What I've learned from mentors, what I've learned from books, what I've learned about experience as a leader is that in times of stress, some people are going to shut down. Sometimes people are going to get overwhelmed, and it's your job to not fall into that. It's your job to not get overwhelmed, get overstressed, start lashing out at those that you serve and those that you lead. They're looking to you for guidance. Leadership is a huge responsibility, and it takes years to master and a ton of experience. No matter what you go through as a leader, you have to stay calm. You have to think of those that you serve and delegate and empower so that you can move past the tasks that you're trying to accomplish. They're going to look to you for guidance. They're going to look to you for the answers. And if you don't have the answers, that's fine. Don't make stuff up. Don't fluff. Don't beat around the bush. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm not sure, but I'm going to get that answer for you. Don't, I don't know. That's not what leaders, now they just lost confidence. And when you lose the credibility and you lose the trust and you lose that confidence that they have in you as a leader, they'll find it somewhere else. They'll find it in their peer group. They'll find it in outside agencies. They'll find it in other mentors that they may have. And then you've lost them. And when you try to bring them back, or you try to say something, you tell them what to do, you delegate, whatever, they don't really want to follow you. They're going to follow you just because it's a job, or they're going to follow you just because it's what they need to do. But they're not going to follow you because they like you. They're not going to follow you because they trust you. And so never, ever do anything to ruin the credibility from you as a leader. Never do anything that's going to take away the credibility and destroy the confidence of those that you lead. Real leadership is about serving those around you. It's about building up other leaders around you. And it's about buying into the vision. They have to buy into the vision first, and then they will buy into the leader. When you make a positive impact difference in the lives of those that you serve, you will better the unit, the company, whoever you're leading, they will be better for it. You always need to lead with a servant heart, because as a leader, that's exactly what you do. You serve those around you. So walking the talk, having core values is what's going to inspire people to follow you. Yes, the title, they're going to follow the title, but that's not the type of leader that you want to be. Make sure that you are following what you say and what you talk about. If you set guidelines, you have to follow them. If you set core values, you have to follow them. Lead by example. And I guarantee you, those that follow you will follow you forever. As I close, there's a quote that I want you to remember by Sun Tzu, and it's from the book Art of War. And it says, look on your children, look on your soldiers as your children. Look on them as their only begotten son, and they will follow you even after, look on them as your only begotten sons, and they will follow you even unto death. So you look at your soldiers, you look at them as your children, because you don't want to steer your children in the wrong direction. Parents have a huge responsibility to teach their kids. And so what he's saying is, if you look at those that you lead as your own children, and you care for them as your own children, and you look on them as your children, they will follow you to the end of the earth. And so I want to thank you for having me. I want to thank this great community and this great organization for asking me to speak on leadership. I hope that I gave you some tips. I hope that I helped you in some way, and I set a guideline for you to follow as a leader, if you are one, or if you at one time become one. So you have to walk your talk, get that buy-in, and remember, you don't need a title to be a leader. So I wish